Hi, Mel here, and in today's video I'll be flying business class with Taiwan-based EVA Air from Shanghai, China to Taipei, Taiwan. It's the 5th flight of my around the world trip that has me circling the globe and traveling more than 20,000 miles. This was my first time flying with EVA Air, and while the flight was on the shorter side, I was very excited for the chance to experience and evaluate their premium business class product aboard one of their Boeing 777-300ERs. So how was the journey? Does EVA Air's business class compare to what I've experienced from some of the other premium Asian airlines? I hope you'll come along with me today to find out. Also, if you enjoy this type of content, I hope you'll hit the like button and subscribe. And with that out of the way, let's get started. If you've watched any of my recent videos, you'll know that I'm on an around the world trip that I booked with points. My latest stop was in China. It was my first visit there and one of the places I was most excited to see. I spent time in both Beijing and Shanghai and was completely blown away by the experience. It was so much more than I expected. Not surprisingly, my time in China was over much too quickly. With so much more I still want to experience, I will be planning a second trip back soon. But for now, it's time to head to my next location. My flight from Shanghai to Taipei was departing at 1:10 p.m. from Terminal 2 of Shanghai's Pudong International Airport. I wasn't allowed to check in online, so I made my way to EVA Air's priority check-in counter. There was no one in line, so the process was very quick. The agent gave me my boarding pass and informed me that I could choose to access either the China Eastern Lounge or the Air China Lounge. I selected the Air China Lounge because I had read that it was the better of the two options. I then made my way through security and followed the signs directing me to the lounge. As I entered the Air China Lounge, I put my luggage in a locker and headed in. The lounge is actually on 2 levels. The first floor was quite empty and there were plenty of different seating options. They even offer a few massage chairs. There's also a hallway lined with individual restrooms. Finally, there's a small section with tables and a round island offering a few snack and beverage options. But if you're looking for a proper meal, head up to the second level, where you'll find more tables and a much better selection of food. There are also additional lounging areas up there. As well as a hallway lined with shower rooms. I only had time for a quick bite to eat before heading back down to collect my luggage and head out in search of my gate. I found my gate and watched a bit of the pre-flight preparations. But before long, it was time to board. So I took the escalator down to the boarding area and headed down the jet bridge. My flight to Taipei would be aboard one of EVA Air's Boeing 777-300ERs. The aircraft is equipped with an economy cabin of 238 Collins Aerospace Pinnacle seats, arranged in a 3x3x3 layout. Each seat is 18 inches wide, has a recline of 3 inches, and features an adjustable headrest. The premium economy cabin features 56 recliner seats arranged in a 2x4x2 configuration. These seats are 19.5 inches wide, have a recline of 5 inches, and offer pedal-style footrests. The business class cabin is equipped with 39 Zodiac Cirrus seats, broken into 2 cabins, and arranged in a reverse herringbone 1x2x1 configuration. Each 20-inch wide seat converts into a fully flat bed and offers multiple storage options for your personal items. If you're flying alone, you might want to book a window seat. The window seats are equal in terms of privacy and distance from the window, but I prefer rows 2 or 3 in the front cabin because there's less foot traffic in the front cabin, and the closer to the front you are, the sooner you receive your meal. If you're traveling as a couple, you might prefer the middle section. There is a divider screen between the middle seats that can be raised or lowered depending on how much privacy you want. Again, I recommend trying to book seats in the front cabin if available. My seat for this flight would be 2A, a window seat in the forward business class cabin. As luck would have it, I was one of the first to board. The color palette isn't very exciting or flashy, but the pods and seats are clean and in good condition. Also, while I've heard others complain that the cabin looks dated, I didn't really feel that way. I like the look of the pod, and I think the materials look and feel high-end. When I reached 2A, I saw that there were headphones and slippers on my seat, plus a really nice pillow, large and firm, which makes it perfect for lumbar support. I took my seat to get a look around. Let's start with storage. Near the aisle are the coat hook and the literature pocket. To the bottom left are 2 storage shelves. They are generous in size, but I do wish that they had more than a bar to hold your items in place. Since this was a short day flight and I won't be making my seat into a bed, the footwell can also be viewed as potential storage space. And finally, next to the window, there's another shelf that provides vertical storage space and a spot for a water bottle. Right next door is the remote control for the IFE system, the universal power outlet, and the inputs to connect your devices to the entertainment system. I always wondered, does anyone actually use these inputs? And finally, the light controls and the headphone jack. Lower down by the armrest are the seat controls. You can use any of the 3 pre-programmed seat positions or press the arrows to make finer adjustments to particular parts of the seat. This button allows you to pull out and adjust the angle of the in-flight entertainment screen. And you can easily access the tray table by pulling it out here and unfolding it. The outside armrest offers 2 different positions, down for when you're sleeping and up for when you're seated and looking for a place to rest your arm. Last but not least, I glanced up to see if there were individual air vents. There were not, but I wasn't overly concerned since I wasn't going to be trying to sleep. While I was busy exploring the seat area, the flight attendant came by to introduce herself and provide me with a pre-departure drink, a wet towel, and the food and bar menus. So as the boarding process finished up, I took a minute to relax. As the safety announcements came on, we pulled away from the gate and headed to the runway for takeoff. After a short wait, we were lifting off. Since this was a relatively short flight, I knew that meal service would be pretty quick. I had placed my order before takeoff. There were 3 main courses offered, and I selected the chicken with roasted potatoes. The bar menu provided a nice selection for a flight this length, including champagne, 2 white wine options, 2 red wine options plus a port selection, cocktails, mocktails, spirits, liqueurs, beer, sake, and plum liqueur, and a really impressive array of non-alcoholic beverages, including matcha and herbal and fruit infusions. I swapped my shoes for the slippers, and not long after, the flight attendant delivered my meal. The meal was served all at once on a tray, but this is completely understandable given the length of the flight. The food itself looked very appetizing to me, especially the main course. And I appreciate that they provided real dishes, glasses, and flatware. In addition to your choice of a main dish, everyone also received smoked duck roll with mango salsa, fresh fruit, and raspberry cheesecake. The flight attendants also came by to offer garlic bread, which I must say was so delicious. It's made me question why all airlines don't offer it. I started with the main course, which was as good as it looks. The chicken was stuffed with a spinach mixture, and it was not overcooked, which is always a risk when flying. Instead, it was flavorful and juicy, and the flavors of the whole dish mingled perfectly together. My drink was the Amber Dream mocktail, which was quite refreshing. The smoked duck roll was pretty good too, but not as tasty as the main chicken course. I was a bit full from eating in the lounge, so I wasn't able to finish everything, but all in all, I give the meal top marks. As soon as the meal tray was cleared, I turned my attention to the in-flight entertainment system. I pressed the button to release the 15.4-inch retractable HD touchscreen display. It's on the small side and feels a bit dated, but I like that the position can be adjusted. The headphones are labeled as Thunder by EVA Air, whatever that means. They are noise canceling, and while I found them to be adequate, the audio quality was definitely not the best I've ever experienced. The remote control is pretty standard in terms of how it works, but overall, whether navigating with the remote or directly with the touchscreen feature, I found the responsiveness of the system to be on the slow side. And the entertainment options were adequate for a shorter flight, but not what I would describe as extensive. I knew we would be landing soon, so I took the opportunity to check out one of the restrooms. There are 3 restrooms for business class, which works out to a ratio of 1 restroom for every 13 passengers. Pretty good. I selected the one closest to my seat at the front of the cabin. The restroom was standard in terms of size and cleanliness. However, it doesn't feature some of the touchless technology that many airplane restrooms now offer. The amenities on offer are from Aqua Colonia fragrance line from the German-based company Meurer and Wirth. I can confirm that the products smelled amazing. The only other notable feature in the restroom is the fold-down seat that I think can be used if you're changing clothes. When I got back to my seat, I saw that the flight attendant had dropped off several pieces of candy. A nice ending touch to a pleasant journey. While we watched the approach and landing, what did I think of my first flight with EVA Air? I must say that this short flight has left a very positive impression on me. The service and food were both excellent. The flight attendants were friendly and proactive, the meal service was impressively quick, and the food was well presented and delicious. I was also impressed by the number of small touches that the crew offered on such a short flight. Everything from pre-departure drinks to wet towels, slippers, and farewell candy. In terms of the hard product, while I recognize that the business class pod isn't the most sleek or modern I've experienced, I still enjoyed it. The seat itself is extremely comfortable, and I was very satisfied with the seat controls and the generous storage options. The IFE system could be improved, but it was adequate for a shorter flight. In terms of how much I paid for this trip, as I already mentioned, this flight is part of an around-the-world award trip that I booked through ANA Airlines. For all 7 flights, 6 of which were in business class, I paid a total of 125,000 points plus $791.40 in taxes and fees. The review from each of my first 4 flights of that trip are already up, and I'll put links in the description below. I also plan to review my transatlantic flight on EVA Air traveling from Taipei to Los Angeles, so I hope you'll stay tuned for that. I have to admit that after this great preview flight, I was very excited to see what EVA Air would offer on a longer journey. Thanks for coming along today. Comment below if you have any questions. And if you've flown with EVA Air, or if you've taken advantage of ANA's Around the World deal, I'd love to hear about your experience. Also, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It's a great way to help the channel and enables me to make more videos like this one. Until next time, happy travels.